The Glenavon Legends, in conjunction with the IFA, is back. We had 2 very successful years. Some clubs now want us to come back a 3rd time to hear from some more of their legends. And we start this series at Glenavon, at Moorview Park. It's not George Clooney, it's me. Huh? Do you remember those days, Violet? Mm. Do you remember me behind the stand? Oh. 62 to 69, 7 seasons. 63 games only over that period, but you scored 27 goals. That's not a bad ratio. What are your memories of that time?
Jimmy McAlinton was the manager when I came here.
Gentleman Jim.
Yep. And later on, he resigned and Ted Smith took over.
Yeah.
And then he resigned and Jimmy Jones took over. So I played under 3 managers.
Yeah. Who were the good players at that time in the 60s?
Well,
we're testing this memory of yours, aren't we?
The best one I ever played with was Wilbur Cush.
Here, here.
He was out of the ordinary, something special. The Saturday before Jimmy Jones took over, we played out here, and I scored the goal, the only goal of the game. And the next Saturday, it was away to Ballymena or Coleraine, I don't know which. But Jimmy was going through the team, that's what he did. Started the goalkeeper, and I was number 11. Says all you did was score the goal. You get 3 points then.
Keep the mic up.
But that was me finished. I didn't play here after that.
Joe. Hey, it was interesting with Jimmy, wasn't it, in the dressing room?
Oh, very interesting.
You didn't learn a lot, but it was interesting.
No, well, there was one incident here everybody would knows or have heard of. Sammy McGee played. He was in the team, him and Eric. And we had gone, I think, about the first 10 or 11 matches and hadn't won them.
Are you talking about this season, Eric?
No. No. But Jimmy had a bit of a rant, and he was ranting at everybody in the changing room, and no, he wasn't picking out anybody in particular, but he must have said something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but Sammy was sitting beside me. He played right half, I was playing centre half, and Sammy says, "I can't take this." And we were stripped ready to play and all. But 10 minutes before we were out, he put on his clothes, he dressed himself, and he says, "I'm not playing." He says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I couldn't play. You've upset me."
I was there that day. He walked out and he never ever kicked a ball in the Irish League again.
No, and he was one of the best
28
players. Yeah. Do you remember that as well?
I remember. Dermot, what are you doing these days? You're still involved, aren't you?
Sitting here talking to you, Jackie. That's what I'm doing.
It's great. First of all, it's great that you come up from Dublin at the drop of a hat to be with us tonight. Thank you very much indeed. What about down south? What are you doing?
Well, at the moment, our season is over now. I'm goalkeeping coach with St. Pat's Athletic. I do a couple of junior teams as well, and I'm doing I coach the goalkeepers with the Republic of Ireland under 17 team as well. So I'm kept quite busy.
Yeah. How much do you miss playing? I mean, I know we all get older, and the body tells us.
I think, Jackie, I miss the banter more than the actual playing. Like, you know, I loved playing, and we all loved playing. But the banter in the dressing room was second to none. It was great throughout my career. Up here was different. It was a different type of banter, you know. But we had great crack all together.
Did you understand the banter up here? Because it's it's quite caustic and cynical, isn't it?
Yeah. It took me a while, but I got it in the end, you know.
What are you, apart from the Irish Cup, which you won. You beat Cliftonville.
Cliftonville, yeah.
Tony Grant got the goal.
In the 22nd
minutes.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
But I never forget that 22nd minute. Anyway, great memory that day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, great memory from the word go, Jackie, you know. I mean, I remember I was playing for Derry City at the time, and we had just won the cup down south, and I happened to be captain at the time, and it was a great honour, and it was brilliant, and we went back up to Derry the next day, and we had a great time, and a couple of the supporters would say to me, you know, you're not to leave, you're not leaving, and I said, no, I'm going nowhere. So the next morning, Felix Healy, who was the manager at the time, he said, we're selling you to Glenavon. I said, no, you're not selling me, and he said, well, then you have to come up and play in the reserves then. So I wasn't prepared to do that, obviously. So
just like that, eh?
Yeah, that was it, done. And I had another year to go. So then I met Nigel and I met Adrian, and I actually knew driving out of here that I was going to sign. And then you do a bit of research on the players that they had here, you know. And the man next to me, Raymond McCoy, Stephen McBride, Lee Doherty, you could roll them off, and you just wanted to get up here and play. It was an honour to play up here. It was brilliant. And then of course the crowd, you know, and you know, you get on well with the crowd, and they appreciate you coming up and doing your best for them and putting in 100%. And I have to say, Jackie, I started off well. You know, I mean, it was a dream start for me. I think we played my first competitive game, I think, was against Bangor in the League Cup, if I'm not mistaken, and we won 1-0. And then my second game was the Icelandic team. We drew 0-0, and again, that's the second clean sheet, and done all right. And I think we played another game and with another clean sheet, going great. And then we went to play the second leg over there in Iceland. And I was lucky enough to save a penalty. So, I mean, that was a dream start for me.
And you went through to the next round,
We went through to the next round where we got Werder Bremen, which I believe I paid for the stand here. So,
I was going to say that I was doing some research into this dinner tonight, and
they owe me money, don't they?
They got about 80,000 from that because of that penalty save. How much of that 80,000 did you get?
Well, he told me when he rang me, he said, "Come up, there's a few bob up here for you." So I'm waiting on it at the end of the night.
Yeah. Glenn, let me bring you in here before I ask you about yourself. What are your memories of this guy behind you?
Just talking about the European trip after he'd saved the penalty. After the game, we went in, was my abiding memory of Dermo drinking a bottle of Southern Comfort and Bailey's mixed on the table, singing Simply the Best like Tina Turner.
8 years here, as I said, 228 goals, 361 games. If that's one or two out, you'll tell me. I know. But that's a great ratio. But it was a very good team, as Dermot has indicated.
Obviously, in those years, there's a lot of talk about McBride, Ferguson, McCoy. But when you look around the rest of the team, you know, we had people there like Stevie Conville, you know, Fint McConville, Mickey McKeown, Scabby even, you know, God rest him. Dermot at the back, Paul Byrne, you know, Dean McCulloch. They were sort of like unsung heroes in the team, but they contributed as much as what the rest of us done. All we done was stick the ball in the net. After doing so well at this club and coming so close, my aim was to win a league championship, which I hadn't done. It was the only medal I hadn't won. So I thought it was a chance. And this is not to say that Linfield had topped me up. They had done in the past, years previous to that, but I asked for a transfer. Obviously, Adrian and Nigel at the time were reluctant, but I was adamant I wanted to, so that's when the Bettermore then became Linfield and Glentoran, and I met with both clubs and instantly had made my mind up that I wanted to go to Linfield.
Hello, Glenn. What was the best forward line you ever played in?
The time here with McBride and McCoy, it's obviously, it was well talked about. The goals were scored between us, you know. So obviously that would be one. And then once I went to Linfield, I had a great partnership with Peter Thompson. You know, again with myself and Peter, you know, we were scoring 80 goals a season as well. 70, 80 goals. You know, Peter was usually getting about 45 of those. You know, but he's an excellent striker as well. But for me, learning the game as I came here as a 20-year-old to come into the dressing room with the players that were here, to form such a good partnership with Big Stevie. And then when Ramey came back from New Zealand and he signed as well, you know, it was great to get the three of us together. I'm lucky enough to play together for, it was probably about 3 or 4 years, you know, so I really enjoyed that time. And yeah, probably that one.
Hi Joe, good to see you again. I always thought Hugh Dowd was a class player. How did you see him as a player playing with him?
Very deceptive. If you look when he was playing, he looked big, cumbersome, but he was very, very sharp. He was over 10 yards. I would say he was probably, at night time, the fastest man other than Jackie was. I
was quick running out of the way of fullbacks.
Would have been Earl McNally, the goalkeeper. He was the fastest sprinter we had here. Mm-hmm. But Hugh Dowd was up there with the fastest sprinters as well. That's what made him. He made it look easy, you know. Everybody said no, he wasn't punted in, but he had a big stride. I would say.
Yes.
Glenn, would you ever become a manager for any Irish League team?
Who knows? Obviously,
distillery doesn't count.
When you've played as long and been in the game as long as what I have, you know, you want to stay involved in some capacity. And when you spend the money you spend on your coaching badges, you know, I think really it's something you have to try, you know. So yes, I do have the aspiration to become a manager. If and when the opportunity comes, if it's the right opportunity, I'll certainly want to take it. But I'm in no rush. But if something was to come up that I thought suited me and suited both parties, obviously I would be interested in looking at it. Yeah.
John O'Dale, do you remember dipping me up over the fence to join the 97 Irish Cup celebrations in Fisher?
I knew I recognised it. You, Simon. How are you doing? You all right? Good to see you. I do remember you. I do remember picking you up, lifting you over the fence. Well done. I do.
Simon, what do you remember of that day? Only one goal, wasn't it?
One goal, yes.
Who did we beat?
Pittenfell.
Well done, well done. Who got the goal?
Tony Grant.
What was the minute?
20 seconds.
22nd minutes.
You should be doing this job. What about this year? Things are not going so well.
It's a bit well, yeah.
What about Marty Quinn?
Oh, he's still there, yeah.
He's still there, yeah. Do you want him to stay?
I want him to stay, yes.
You listening, Adrian? Simon, thank you very much. Good man.
A lot of highlights, Jackie. I remember we beat Portadown here 7. You remember that? Thought that was brilliant. That was really good.
They'll remember it.
I did. But I mean, that was a great achievement. Like, you know, beat them 7, like, it was brilliant. But I mean, obviously the European games was tremendous. And
what was the feeling? Just looking at you played in the '91 final. That was the Mid Ulster derby, and a great carnival day it was for both sets of supporters. What was that like? Losing an Irish Cup final, but also losing it to the big bad rivals up the road.
Well, for me personally, it was dreadful because I missed another 2 good chances. But any other day or any other time out here, I would have scored. You know, so I was disappointed in that respect. But for Stevie, can't do outpace anyone and score 2 goals. I was disappointed as well because I think you probably would have caught him, Jackie. You know, but no, Stevie was a class act when it came to finishing. You know, but we were disappointed. You know, to lose that final, particularly because it was against Portadown. But it's all about the day. It's a family day out, and when we walked out at Windsor that day, it was just a sea of red and blue. You know, it was a great occasion. Apart from the result, you know, but we learned by our mistakes and eventually went on and were able to win it at one stage.
Joe, how much did you win here? No, I mean, I've searched the record books myself. I know.
No, I couldn't find any trophies either. But the highlight was playing against PSV Eindhoven.
Yes.
I've played in the first leg, which was in PSV, and the second leg I was injured. I didn't get playing in it here.
I mean, them European games was brilliant. Obviously, the cup final when we won was a great. What I remember most about, a lot about the cup final was when we met here. and a bit of a guard of honour on the way out. And I wouldn't have experienced that with Derry City or with Bohemians when I was in the finals, which was tremendous, and the suits and the flower and all. It was a great occasion, brilliant occasion, you know, and the supporters coming out. And also I remember when we came back from Iceland, I think we went with Shelbourne, didn't we? We flew from Dublin, which was great for me because I didn't have to move. But the supporters came down to Dublin Airport. Some of the supporters came down. I just thought that was amazing that they made an effort to actually come down, and the achievement that it was to beat a team in Europe and get into the next round was tremendous.